I'll never forget that day. There I was sitting at my small kitchen table in my one-room apartment, staring at a pile of bills I couldn't pay. 25 years old, broke, discouraged, and embarrassed. The kind of broke where you look in your wallet and the moths fly out. You ever been there? I had all the usual excuses lined up like soldiers ready for battle. The economy wasn't great, my job didn't pay enough, I wasn't born into the right family. You see, I had mastered the art of explaining why success was for other people. Oh, I could give you a seminar on why things weren't working out. But then something extraordinary happened. A mentor of mine, successful beyond my wildest dreams at the time, sat me down for coffee. I was ready with my usual litany of excuses, but before I could start, he asked me one simple question that stopped me dead in my tracks. He looked me straight in the eyes and said, "Son, Paul, who have you been focusing on?" I stammered, "What do you mean?" "Well," he said, taking a slow sip of his coffee, "while you've been watching what everyone else is doing, counting their success, analyzing their luck, and explaining why you can't, who's been working on you?" That question hit me like a ton of bricks. In that moment, I realized I had spent more time focused on what was happening to me than what was happening in me. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the day everything began to change. You see, here's what I've discovered after all these years. Most people live in what Thoreau called quiet desperation. And do you know why? Because they're waiting for their ship to come in, waiting for conditions to be perfect, waiting for someone to come save them. But let me tell you something profound. While they're waiting, life is passing them by. Now, here's the fascinating thing about success and failure. Both leave clues. And the biggest clue I've discovered is this. Successful people look in the mirror when they face problems, while unsuccessful people look out the window. Let that sink in for a moment. When things go wrong, and they will, that's just part of life. You have two choices. You can either say, "Why is this happening to me?" Or you can ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" The difference between these two questions is worth a fortune. Let me share something that changed my life forever. I used to blame everything outside of me for my lack of progress. The weather, the taxes, the government, my employer. I had a list longer than my arm. But then my mentor taught me this priceless philosophy. For things to change, you have to change. For things to get better, you have to get better. You see, personal accountability isn't a burden, it is a blessing. It's the key that unlocks the door to everything you want in life. When you take full responsibility for your life, something magical happens. You move from being a victim to being the architect of your future. Your life today is nothing more than a reflection of your past choices. Every penny in your bank account, every relationship you have, every skill you possess or lack, it's all a result of choices you made or didn't make. The good news is, if you don't like what you see in that reflection, you can start making different choices today. I remember when this really hit home for me. I was complaining about my income, and my mentor said something I'll never forget. He said, the marketplace pays for value, and it pays exactly what you're worth. Ouch. That stung. But then he added, the good news is, you can become worth more. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the miracle of personal development. Your circumstances can change dramatically, not by hoping, not by wishing, but by focusing on the person in the mirror. Start asking yourself better questions. How can I become more valuable? How can I serve more? How can I grow? Because here's the truth. You don't get paid for the hour, you get paid for the value you bring to the hour. You don't get paid for having a good attitude, but it's the good attitude that will help you learn, grow, and become more valuable. The mirror moment comes when you finally understand that the only person who can change your life is staring right back at you. Let me tell you about the 4 corners that hold up the house of success. You see, most people focus on just one area of their life and wonder why things still feel off balance. It's like trying to sit on a 3-legged chair. It might work for a while, but eventually you're going to tip over. First, let's talk about your mind. Your mind is like a garden. And here's what's fascinating about gardens. They don't care what you plant. They don't care what you plant. They'll grow whatever you put in there. Plant tomatoes, you get tomatoes. Plant weeds, you get weeds. The soil doesn't judge. Your mind works the same way. Every day you're planting seeds. The books you read, the thoughts you think, the people you listen to, these are all seeds. Some people wonder why their garden is full of weeds when they haven't planted anything worthwhile in years. You know what I tell my students? Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for fewer problems, wish for more wisdom. Why? Because when you grow, everything in your life grows with you. Now, let's talk about your health, the engine that drives everything else. It amazes me how some people will take better care of their car than their body. They wouldn't dream of putting the wrong fuel in their car, but they'll put anything in their mouth. Here's the truth. You can't enjoy your wealth if you don't have your health. Your body is the only place you have to live. Take care of it. Energy is the key to all good things. Without good health, you're playing life's game with a handicap. The 3rd corner is your relationships. Want to know something fascinating? Your relationships are perfect mirrors. They reflect exactly who you are. If you want better relationships, become a better person. Want to attract different people? Become different. Success is not a solo sport. The quality of your life will be determined by the quality of your relationships. Some people tell me, but you don't understand. I have difficult people in my life. And I say, become so valuable that difficult people cannot afford to stay in your life. Finally, let's talk about your finances, the report card of your habits. Money is an interesting thing. It's not the most important thing, but it affects everything that is important. Your bank account is nothing more than a reflection of your philosophy about life. Poor people have poor habits. Average people have average habits. And successful people, they have successful habits. Here's what's fascinating about money. It's such an excellent reporter. It tells you exactly how much value you've brought to the marketplace. Don't like the report? Don't argue with the reporter. Change the news. Increase your value. Learn more skills. Solve bigger problems. These 4 corners work together. When you understand financial principles, you can debate, control, and decide. When you understand financial principles, you can take advantage of those opportunities. But here's the key. You can't neglect any of them. You can't be physically fit but emotionally bankrupt. You can't be financially wealthy but spiritually poor. You can't have a $1 million dream with a minimum wage work ethic. The good news is you don't have to work on all of them at once. Start with one corner. Make it strong. Then move to the next. Small improvements in each area create massive changes in your life. Remember, success is neither magical nor mysterious. Success is the natural consequence of consistently applying basic fundamentals. Your foundation determines how high you can build. So I ask you, how strong are your corners? Which one needs attention today? Because once you strengthen your foundation, everything else becomes possible. You know what's fascinating about human nature? We have this incredible tendency to look everywhere except where the answer lies, within ourselves. I call it the disease of external focus, and it's epidemic in our society today. Let me tell you what I hear all the time. People say, the economy is bad. Really? Then how come some people are doing exceptionally well in the same economy? You see, the economy isn't bad for everyone. It's only bad for those who don't understand how economies work. While some people are crying about the economy, others are finding opportunities. The same wind blows on us all. The difference is not the wind, it's the set of your sail. Here's something even more dangerous, the comparison trap. Some people spend their whole lives watching others, measuring their happiness against someone else's success. They see somebody driving a nice car and think, must be nice. They see someone with a beautiful home and say, they got lucky. Let me tell you something profound. You will never win a race looking in someone else's lane. And oh, the excuses. Excuses are the nails used to build the house of failure. Every time you make an excuse, you give away your power. I'm too old. I'm too young. I don't have the education. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. These aren't reasons. They're excuses. And every excuse you make becomes a brick in the wall between you and your dream. But here's the biggest tragedy of all, living someone else's life. Some people spend 40 years climbing the ladder of success only to realize it was leaning against the wrong building. They chose their career because their parents wanted it. They live in a certain neighborhood because that's what society expects. They drive certain cars because that's what their peers approve of. What a price to pay. Trading your dreams for acceptance, trading your potential for approval, trading your authentic self for an artificial image that doesn't even belong to you. You know what the most expensive real estate in the world is? The graveyard. Because buried there are countless dreams that were never pursued, books that were never written, businesses that were never started, love that was never expressed, all because people were too busy living someone else's life instead of their own. Here's the truth. There will always be economy. There will always be competition. There will always be obstacles, but none of these are the real problem. The real problem is giving them power over your life by focusing on them instead of focusing on you. Stop asking why them and start asking why not me. Stop saying if only things were different and start saying let me make a difference. Stop waiting for the right conditions and start creating the right conditions. Now, let me share something powerful with you about success. Success is not something you pursue. Success is something you attract by the person you become. And becoming happens through discipline, through daily rituals, through the small choices you make when nobody's watching. You see, everybody wants to be successful. But here's what separates the winners from the wishers. It's what you do between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. that makes the difference. Not what you say you're going to do someday. Most people major in minor things. They're busy being busy, but they're not busy being productive. They have yearly goals, but poor daily habits. Let me tell you something fascinating about success. Success doesn't care about your intentions. Success only cares about your actions. You can't go to the bank and make a deposit with good intentions. The bank only takes actual money. Life works the same way. It pays off in results, not in intentions. Here's the miracle of daily discipline. Life will pay any price you ask of it. Want to be wealthy? Pay the price. Want to be healthy? Pay the price. Want to be skilled? Pay the price. But here's the key. You have to pay the price daily, not occasionally. Success is not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's not an event, it's a habit. Let me give you an example. Reading just 10 pages of a good book every day means you'll read about 3,650 pages in a year. That's about 18 good books. Do this for 5 years, and you've read 90 books. Now, how different would your life be after absorbing the wisdom from 90 good books? The difference would be profound. But most people won't do it. Why? Because they can't see the results after day 1, after day 2, after day 3. This is the miracle of compound effect. Small, smart choices repeated every day compound into incredible results. But you have to understand, the same is true for poor choices. Missing one workout won't make you out of shape. Eating one poor meal won't make you unhealthy. Reading one good book won't make you successful. It's what you do consistently that creates your life. So here's how you create your personal development plan. First, decide what you want. Be specific. Vague goals produce vague results. Second, list the skills you need to achieve it. Success leaves clues. What skills do the successful people in your field have? Third, create your daily ritual. What must you do every day to move toward your goal? Remember this formula. Your life always moves in the direction of your strongest thoughts and habits. Want to know where you'll be in 5 years? Look at your daily routine. Your daily routine is like a train track. The track determines the destination. You can't put your train on a track to Chicago and expect to end up in Miami. Here's another key. Start small, but start now. Don't try to change everything at once. Pick one ritual. Maybe it's reading, maybe it's exercise, maybe it's making 3 business calls every morning. Master that one ritual until it becomes as automatic as brushing your teeth. The greatest time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second greatest time is today. The same is true for your personal development. Yes, the best time to start was years ago, but the second best time is right now. And please understand this. Motivation alone is not enough. Motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. That's why you need disciplines, not just desires. Disciplines weigh ounces, but regret weighs tons. The pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret is permanent. Your future is being created by what you do today, not by what you're going to do someday. The question isn't, what do I want to achieve? The real question is, who do I need to become to achieve what I want? Let me share with you the 5 areas that can transform your life forever. These aren't just skills, they're tools of transformation. Master these, and you'll master your destiny. First, let's talk about time management. You know what's interesting about time? We all have the same amount, 24 hours each day. The difference in people's lives is not the time they have, it's how they use that time. Some people kill time while others invest it. Here's a sobering thought. Time is more valuable than money. You can get more money, but you cannot get more time. When you waste time, you're wasting your life. When you master time, you master life. Don't tell me you don't have enough time. You have exactly the same number of hours per day that were given to Helen Keller, Michelangelo, Mother Teresa, Leonardo da Vinci, and Albert Einstein. Time management is really life management. Either you run the day or the day runs you. Next, let's discuss skill development. Your income rarely exceeds your personal development. You want to earn more? Learn more. The marketplace pays for value, and value comes from skills. Here's the magic. Skills are learnable. You weren't born knowing how to walk, how to talk, how to read. You learn these things. And you can learn whatever new skills you need for success. The question isn't whether you can learn. The question is whether you're willing to learn. Some people say, well, I'm not good at that. And I say, yet. You're not good at that yet. Remember, everyone who's good at something was once bad at it. The only difference? They decided to get better. Now let's talk about something even more fundamental. Character building. Skills will make you money, but character will make you successful. Your character is your foundation. You can have all the skills in the world, but without character, you'll eventually self-destruct. Character is doing the right thing when nobody's watching. It's being honest when dishonesty might pay more. It's keeping promises to yourself. Fourth on our list is goal setting, your personal navigation system. Life is like a journey, and goals are your destination. Without goals, you're not navigating, you're just drifting. But here's what's fascinating about goals. They do more than just point you in the right direction. They pull you toward them. They give you energy. They create enthusiasm. The key to goal setting is writing them down. Something magical happens when you write down a goal. It moves from being a wish to becoming a commitment. Written goals are like magnets. They pull you toward them. Unwritten goals are like clouds. They float around in your mind with no power. Finally, let's talk about financial literacy. Most people work all their lives for money, but they never learn about money. That's like playing chess without learning the rules. Money is not everything, but it affects everything. Financial literacy isn't just about making money. It's about keeping money, growing money, and using money as a tool rather than being used by it. Here's what's interesting about money. It's a subject, like mathematics, like science, like history. And like any subject, it can be learned. Most people never study it, then wonder why they struggle financially. They know the price of everything, but the value of nothing. These 5 areas work together. Time management gives you the space to develop skills. Skills increase your market value. Character ensures your success is sustainable. Goals direct your energy. Financial literacy helps you keep and grow what you earn. But here's the key. You don't have to master them all at once. Start with one. Maybe time management is your weakest link. Fine. Start there. Master it. Then move to the next. Remember, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. And please understand this. Mastering these areas doesn't happen overnight. It's not an event. It's a process. The goal is progress, not perfection. Are you better this year than last year? Are you growing? Are you learning? That's what matters. Now, let me give you something powerful, something that can transform your life in the next 90 days. Why 90 days? Because a year is too long to wait, and 30 days isn't long enough to create lasting change. 90 days is perfect. Long enough to see real results, short enough to stay excited. Here's what I want you to do. Starting today, take out a piece of paper, not your phone, not your computer, a piece of paper. This is a contract with yourself, and we're going to make it simple but powerful. First, write down one habit you're going to stop, just one. Maybe it's making excuses. Maybe it's procrastination. Maybe it's negative thinking. Write it down. Be specific. Then, write down one habit you're going to start. Maybe it's reading for 30 minutes every morning. Maybe it's exercising. Maybe it's making those important calls first thing every day. Now, here's where most people go wrong. They try to change everything at once. Don't do that. Pick one negative habit to eliminate and one positive habit to create. That's it. But here's the key. You must do it every day for 90 days. No excuses, no exceptions. Next, write down your standards. Not your goals, your standards. Goals are about the future. Standards are about right now. What will you no longer accept in your life? What will you no longer tolerate from yourself? Write it down. Make it real. Now, here's the accountability system. Every night before you go to bed, take 2 minutes to write down what you did that day to honor your commitment. Every morning when you wake up, take 2 minutes to read your contract. This isn't complicated, but it is powerful. Remember this. Accountability is the glue that ties commitment to results. Find someone who cares about you enough to ask you the tough questions. Tell them about your 90-day contract. Ask them to check on your progress, not to judge you, but to support you. Here's what's going to happen. The first 30 days will be hard. Your old habits will fight to stay alive. The second 30 days will be challenging, but easier. The final 30 days, that's when the magic happens. That's when your new habits start to become automatic. Don't wish for an easy challenge. Wish for the strength to face a worthy challenge. Don't wish for fewer problems. Wish for more wisdom. Don't wish for smaller responsibilities. Wish for greater abilities. The next 90 days are going to pass whether you take this challenge or not. 3 months from now, you can be exactly where you are right now, or you can be on your way to becoming who you're capable of being. The choice is yours. The time is now. Make this contract with yourself. Take this challenge. Invest these 90 days in becoming more than you are right now. Because here's the truth. In 90 days, you can completely revolutionize your life. But you must start now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions are perfect, now. The question isn't whether this will work. The question is, will you work? Will you make the commitment? Will you take the challenge? The next move is yours. Think about this. Every great achievement in human history started with a single decision. Every fortune, every breakthrough, every transformation, it began when someone, just like you, decided that enough was enough. They decided that average wasn't acceptable anymore. They decided that their past would no longer dictate their future. You know what fascinates me about human potential is limitless. But here's the paradox. Most people live their entire lives using only a fraction of their capabilities. They're like a supercomputer running a simple calculator program. They're like a rocket ship being used as a paperweight. Some of you are sitting here thinking, I've tried before. Yes, you've tried. But trying isn't the same as committing. When you try, you give yourself an escape route. When you commit, you burn the bridges behind you. You leave yourself no choice but to succeed. I remember talking to a gentleman who told me he'd been trying to quit smoking for 20 years. I asked him, "Sir, how long does it take to quit smoking?" He looked confused. The answer is simple. It takes a second, just 1 second to decide. But that decision must be backed by commitment. Your life right now, your relationships, your health, your bank account, your achievements, they're all perfect reflections of your past commitments. Don't like what you see? Then it's time to make different commitments. You see, most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in a decade. But here's the secret. The decade is made up of 90-day chunks. Master these quarters and you master your life. This 90-day challenge isn't just about changing what you do. It's about changing who you are. Because here's a fundamental truth. Everything in your life gets better when you get better. Your income doesn't grow until you grow. Your relationships don't improve until you improve. Your life doesn't change until you change. Some of you are thinking, but I'm too old. Really? Hey, let me tell you something. You're going to be older anyway. The question is, will you be better? Colonel Sanders started Kentucky Fried Chicken at 65. Grandma Moses started painting at 76. You're not too old and you're not too young. You're exactly where you need to be to start. Others are thinking, but the economy. Stop right there. The economy isn't your problem. If it were, everybody would be failing. But they're not. Some people are thriving right now in this economy. What's the difference? They focused on what they could control. You've got to understand something. Life never gets easier. You just get better. Problems don't disappear. You just become better at handling them. Challenges don't go away. You just become stronger at facing them. This contract you're about to write with yourself, it's not just words on paper. It's a declaration of independence from mediocrity. It's your personal declaration of war against average. It's your line in the sand saying, from this day forward, I will not settle for less than I can be. Look at your hands. Everything you want is within your reach. But you've got to reach. You've got to stretch. You've got to grow. Nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody can do it for you. But here's the good news. Nobody can stop you either. The next 90 days of your life are going to pass whether you take this challenge or not. The sun will rise and set 90 more times. The question is, when those 90 days are over, will you be different? Will you be better? Will you be stronger? Will you be closer to your dreams? The power is in your hands right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. In this moment, with that piece of paper and that pen, with that commitment waiting to be made, with that future waiting to be created.